Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of... Just spat at the camera. Get that off there. Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. So let's talk about it. First of all, before we get started, I want to say a huge, big thank you to Articulated Ninja on Instagram. My man sent me a G.I. Joe care package that some of you saw me unbox a couple of days ago on the live stream. And oh my goodness, Zartan, Snake Eyes, Timber, and this little guy here, the Bat. I was hearing so many things about the Bat. Everyone was like, oh my god, it's such an amazing action figure. I'm like, yeah, is it though? Is it really? Yeah, it is. This little guy, yep. Articulated Ninja, you sent me a care package and you cost me money because I was like, well, I guess I'm army building these now. So there's two more on the way because I love them. Absolutely. Hasbro, Classifieds line, mwah, chef's kiss, killing the game. I love this G.I. Joe setup that I'm building. So happy with this. Right, that's enough about me. Let's talk about what's coming up in the toy world. Can you tell I do this without a script? First of all, the biggest news, I think, Mafex have given a couple of reveals, and oh, they are some good looking reveals. Or at least one of them is. The other one is probably like very good quality. I just like, not that fussed about it. But Magneto, not just Magneto, but full on mid-90s Jim Lee, Marvel vs. Capcom, X-Men anime, just perfect. Just perfect Magneto is what I'm saying here. He looks so good that I'm actually kind of annoyed. I don't want him to look that good because in my X-Men display I've got the Mezco Magneto and I love the Mezco Magneto. I was like, ha, don't need to buy any more Magnetos now. That's gonna do it. That's a definitive oh, dang it. He looks amazing. It's funny because when they did the Age of Apocalypse Magneto, I was looking at that going, man, that does look awesome. But of course, he's got the braids and he's not exactly kind of 616 classic Jim Lee Magneto. So I'll pass on him. And then Mafex were like, that's cute. Did you honestly think we weren't going to do a proper 6161? Boom, 6161. That's kind of funny. He looks great. So even though I've got a Magneto, I'm really tempted because he just looks like full-on X-Men. Welcome to die. So cool. I love the black face with the eyes peeking out. That's such a cool, stylistic kind of look. That is badass. Secondly, I don't have quite so much to say because, again, DC, especially DC's Snyderverse kind of thing, it's Cyborg. And because it's Mafex, you know it's going to be good. You know, the quality's all there and the sculpting and paint and all that jazz, different heads as well, all that nice thing. If you are a Zack Snyder super fan, I'm sure there's a few of you out there. You probably hang out with the 3.75-inch collectors, don't you? Just sitting around talking about your weird fetishes. I'm joking, okay, because I love. Yeah, Cyborg's coming out too. So two big reveals that Mafex have done. Almost said Mezco. What? Action figure companies shouldn't be allowed to start with the same letter. It's just confusing. I'm like Vince McMahon, where it's like, wrestlers can't have the same name, people will be confused. And I'm like, that's so stupid. And then, no, I get confused. So if you want to pick up these guys, then I think they're available for pre-order in Japan at the moment, which means they're going to come over for pre-order over here pretty soon. So keep an eye out. And there hasn't been an official price released yet, but come on, it's Mafex. So you know it's going to be costing around about $80, give or take, if you pre-order. If you don't and then miss the initial release, then it will probably cost $1 bajillion on the second-hand market. So be aware of that one. And speaking of G.I. Joe, as I was earlier, Super 7 have revealed their line of classic-style G.I. Joes. And for me, like, this doesn't really mash my potatoes at all. I love the classified G.I. Joes because they're this kind of modern reinterpretation, kind of badass sort of style. As you guys know, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I didn't really grow up that nostalgically fond of the Joes. I was aware of G.I. Joe, or Action Force as it was in the UK, but I was always more into Transformers, He-Man, Thundercats, that kind of thing. So I was aware but not a massive fan. So when I see these very classic, very retro kind of designs, I sort of think to myself like, like they're okay, but actually they're not sort of the more cool modern designs that I think actually look really good. However, as one of my favorite YouTubers says, Ryan Hollinger. If you don't know about Ryan Hollinger, he does horror movie retrospectives. Really cool, but he speaks with this strong accent, and however always becomes however, but he's very, very good. Anyway, I digress. Super 7 G.I. Joes. They've just released the images, so not too much to go on at the moment. A lot of people have a bit of an axe to grind with Super 7. They're like, you guys are revealing all these things, but you need to actually get to releasing them. They seem to love showing you what's out there and then going, and it will be released at some point in time. So if you're looking forward to these, then I hope they come out soon, but honestly, I don't know when that's going to be. Sticking with G.I. Joes, and this is kind of like second verse, same as the first, because we now have the Hasbro classified retro line. The retro card back figures, the first wave of 4 are up for pre-order, and this is something exactly like I said before. It's the retro style that I'm not too into, but I know a lot of folks are. In fact, the scuttlebutt that I was hearing when I was only just sort of tangentially aware of G.I. Joe classifieds was people were saying, oh, we really like them, but we would like the classic designs. And Hasbro was saying, what's that? You would like to spend more money on a slightly different figure? We can do that. That's not a problem. So these are a lot like the Hasbro Marvel Legends retro card backs, where they take existing figures and then just tweak them a little bit and just change them about just enough. It's the old, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but change it so much that they can't tell it's the same thing. That's pretty much it. But if you want your more classic retro style Joes, then this is exactly it. I'm trying to just think off the top of my head who it is. We got Gung Ho, we've got Baroness, Silverface Magoo, Destro, that's it. And there's another one, Lady J, or Jane. It's J, isn't it? Man, for someone who says how much they love the G.I. Joe line, I'm bad. Names are hard. But if you want to pick them up there and they're available for pre-order now, they're going to be the usual sort of retro price of the sort of early $20-ish, like 23, give or take. It's so difficult because there's so much variance, you know what I'm saying? A lot of variance going around. It's like friggin' Loki out here. But still, you know what? That's a mental tick of mine as well. I gotta stop saying but still. When I edit these videos, all I hear coming out of my mouth is but still, however, but still. Focus up, Dave. Go check these out. They look kind of fun. A very quick note I'll make, because I kind of covered it in the last one, was Cosmic Legions are still dishing out their little teasers for their Wave 2 figures. So all we've got is another silhouette, and really, I'm not going to wax lyrical on it for too long, because that's it. It's a silhouette. Can't really talk much about it. They're just trying to stoke the flames of anticipation in their fans, and it's working. I'm seeing a lot of talk from people who collect the Cosmic Legions line, or at least, you can't really collect it, it's not out yet, but they've pre-ordered the Cosmic Legions line, and already they're like, oh, I'm just getting ready to spend even more money, because you assume they're going to be awesome. That's kind of fun that you just have that expectation. So all I'm saying is, Cosmic Legions, for the love of God, will you just show us the damn action figures so we can give you more money? Speaking of sneaky previews, Storm Collectibles have just shown just a tiny little like what's to come type image from their Tekken and Virtua Fighter lines. So this is really just very nebulous. It's like you can't really grab hold of it. It's just like a little picture. So Wolf is on the way, the wrestler of Virtua Fighter, who has kind of a cool look with a little bit of face paint, big ponytail. And then there's another character who I only said is Tekken because he looks like a Tekken character. I'm pretty sure. It's Tekken. But on the picture I saw, it was all written in Japanese. And I can speak a tiny bit of Japanese, but I sure as heck can't read any of it. So I was like, I assume this is Tekken. I'm pretty sure. Tell me if I'm right. I think I'm right. This is a rare instance where I'm pretty sure I'm right. He was, in fact, not right. So these two guys are going to be coming up soon, and I'm just saying, oh, come on, Storm. Just finish finish the things that you're doing. Finish Mortal Kombat, finish Street Fighter before spending more time and effort on all these different franchises that you're only gonna half complete. Like, finish your Mortal Kombat vegetables, then you can have your Virtua Fighter pudding, alright? Because I want that Mortal Kombat 2 roster complete at some point in the next 10 years. Help me out, Storm. Come on, do us all a favor. Do you want something truly horrific on your shelves? Well, there are actually Model Behaviour David action figures, so that would fit the bill. But if not, then you can get a Sideshow Collectibles Leatherface. Oh, this is for the big time horror connoisseur. Leatherface, one of the most iconic big bads in all of cinema history, and Sideshow, you know they're gonna go ham on this guy. Ham makes sense. Leatherface, Butcher, what am I talking about? He looks pretty incredible because Sideshow always does. I wouldn't want this on my shelf. It's too good, it's too scary, it's too gross. What was so effective about Leatherface as a villain is that there's nothing sort of redeemable about him. He's just disgusting, and that's what this is. It just looks horrific. So if you want a talking point for when the vicar comes to visit, then that's gonna do pretty well. So this figure is $240, which is pretty expensive, but at the same time pretty much kind of standard Sideshow prices. It looks like you're gonna get your money's worth out of it. Should be available around the end of this year, I think. I'm like, that seems very soon, but that's what my notes said, and I'm pretty sure my notes wouldn't be wrong. Either way, you can go to the Sideshow website and actually check it out in person, see all the deets there, and just take a look at how gnarly, grim, gross, and disgusting this guy really is.
Well, hey there, Mr. J. Now we got ourselves a Harley Quinn statue.
Actually, we got two Harley Quinn statues. We got one in 1/4 scale and one in 1/6 scale. Coming to you via Tweeterhead Studios and Sideshow Collectibles. These Harley Quinn statues, very animated kind of style, and it's kind of cool that they're doing the two different sizes. You got the smaller one, which is going to be about $450, and then the larger one going for $600. And this is kind of the new generation of statues we have now, where even though they're statues, they still have interchangeable parts that you can swap out to give different looks and appearances. I think that's kind of cool. If you're spending that much money on an item, then it's nice that you can at least change up the look of it and get a bit more added value out of that, so double thumbs up for that. I'm not a huge Harley Quinn fan. I think, like a lot of characters, she's a little bit overexposed. That's not a knock on the character, it's just we've seen enough. More of the overexposure later. But if you are a big Paul Dini, Batman, classic Harley Quinn kind of collector, this would be a very nice little sort of desktop item for you to have. So, yeah, check her out. Roboforce! Remember Roboforce? I don't, actually. But lots of people do, because the Nacelle company, I think that's how you pronounce it. People might say I've got that wrong. They would be naysayers. I was trying to do a pun, that didn't work. But Roboforce, they don't need a pun to sell themselves. They need some pretty pictures, and we got some very pretty pictures. I love mechs. Mechs look badass, and this is a reimagining of the 80's Roboforce line, which was, from my research and understanding, obviously it's an 80's kids toy line, very, very basic, and now they've been zhuzhed up and upgraded to the badass looking 2022 style of awesome action figures. They should be, because they're retailing for $50 each, so that ain't cheap. But it does look as though these are going to be like 7.5-inch big warrior mech sort of monsters for your shelf. So even if you're not a child of the 80's who loved Roboforce, if you want something for a mech type display or a Cosmic Legions type display, or even I'm thinking like if you have, say for example, a G.I. Joe collection like I do now, and you kind of fudge things like Metal Gear and all that sort of espionage, and that's a very South African kind of pronunciation there. You want to collect an espionage kind of range, then these guys would fit in really great as just mech warrior type things. Or you can even make them to be like Sentinel type characters. You could do some repaints. There's a lot of ideas you could do there. Then again, I wouldn't want to repaint a figure that I'd spent $50 on, but then again, that's because I have zero repainting skills. But if you want to pick these up, they're going to be available for pre-order in April. And then there's also going to be a wave 2 as well, which includes 2 figures. It's just 2 figures in each wave to start with. So the second wave is going to include, I think it's Sota. And then also a villain called 100, which is kind of a fun sort of name. 100. Sounds like a robot Genghis Khan or something. Anyway, they look kind of fun. Not for me, but I'm going to be really interested to watch some video reviews and see what these guys look like in hand. Inart are releasing a Dark Knight Joker figure, another interpretation of Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm not that familiar with Inart, but the figure looks beautiful, very, very sideshowy, you know? And I'm kind of done with Joker, again, kind of like Harley Quinn, just a little bit too much, because I saw it, I was like, man, that looks really impressive, but Heath Ledger's Joker, it's such a iconic thing, and rightly so, but it's like, boy, we're kind of saturated in the market now. I do wonder if anyone who wants a 1/6 scale Heath Ledger Joker doesn't have one yet, because there's so many options out there. But if there is a gap in the market and people still want to pick one up, then this does look like a very, very impressive and worthy addition, especially because there are two different varieties as well. There's the basic one with the character with his accessories and the goods and the clothes and all that kind of thing. That looks really cool. But then there's actually a deluxe version as well, which comes with a prison diorama, and I think that might be a big selling point, because 1/6 scale prison, that's great for any 1/6 scale character. I just thought, top of my head, boom, I got 1/6 scale Robocop. It'd be awesome to see Robocop with the prison bars behind him. That would make a great diorama. So we don't have any word on pricing or release date yet. It's just these preview pictures here. But as far as preview pictures go, yeah, they look very impressive. Hey, let me do a little impression for you, okay? What am I doing? I'm Disney milking the Boba Fett franchise. Oh boy. Or I could have been Luke Skywalker squeezing out some delicious green milk. What were they thinking? I guess they have to recoup their money somehow, and Hot Toys are gonna help them do it. The KX Enforcer Droid that appeared a couple of times in the Boba Fett show is being released 1/6 scale, everything you've come to expect. And hey, look, if you have the money, which is a lot, and the space, which is also a lot, to have a big Sideshow Star Wars collection, he's gonna look badass. I mean, I don't know much about this droid. I watched the whole Boba Fett show, but then, instantly forgot it because my brain put it in the recycling and then trashed it, because why would I need to remember any of that? Sorry, come at me, bro. It was a terrible show. But the droid design looks cool. I love how industrial it looks. It really has the sort of look of something that would be in Nier Automata. That kind of almost a sort of an old wind-up toy, sort of stretched out and extrapolated into a sinister-looking Star Wars battle droid. So the results of this design is on display. It looks really, really cool. So I don't have any kind of connection to the look of this, but just an affinity for saying like, yeah, that's a really cool design. So I don't have any word on price yet, but there's still plenty of time to find that out, because it's not scheduled to be released until about the middle of next year. So don't worry, we'll circle back to that one. And finally for the toys, Neca have shown images of their Black Noir action figure from The Boys line, retailing for $32.99 and available very soon in Target stores. I'm a big fan of The Boys comic books, and I've watched the first series, and I enjoyed the first series, but I haven't seen the second one, so I need to catch up on that, so I'll be ready for the third. It's funny, because obviously having read the comic books, I kind of know stuff about the characters, and my sister is a big fan, and she's been really enjoying the TV show, and I'm like, oh, I want to tell you things. But then again, I know that the show is very different from the books, so even if I didn't keep my secrets to myself, which of course I do, because not giving out spoilers is model behavior, but I think they might surprise us anyway. So this figure looks really cool, as you would expect, because Neca have their formula down. It's the nice window box, all the different accessories. It's a good value piece. I say good value, we kind of accept that that's good value because we just accept how much action figures are now. So to actually have something that's less than $40 and still looks like really nice window package, all that sort of decent stuff, we're like, yeah, that's good value. I remember back in the day when that used to cost you $20. Now it's nearly double. But there you go. That's the world we live in. You don't like it? Don't collect action figures. Wait, that was an option? You mean I don't have to do this? No, that was never an option. I love action figures too much. I just got to find ways and means to make the money. That's all it is. We're not quitting. We just got to earn more money to afford these things. Because if you like the boys and you've got your boys display, then Black Noir is absolutely essential. So look out for him. And a quick bit of non-toy news to finish, but still very much in our wheelhouse. The Joker scene from The Batman has been leaked online, and yeah, I can see why they cut it. I just when we saw the Joker appear like right at the end, or we saw like the hints of the Joker, you didn't get a clear look at him. I instantly felt like this feels like a WB TV show all of a sudden. This feels like Gotham. Like what you had this big budget kind of badass crime noir story, which was really good, and then this little Joker scene interaction with the Riddler at the end, I was like, this feels really CW. I didn't dig it. And then having this extended deleted scene that's been shown online, watching it, I was like, yeah, this feels CW-ish as well. Like that Joker, again, maybe it's also like, I'm not even a huge DC fan, but I still feel like I'm kind of like a Joker purist. It looks like they mangled up his face with like stitches and bald patches and hair, and I'm like, this feels like change for the sake of change. It feels like someone was like, well, we gotta do our own version of the Joker. We've got to put our own stamp on it. And someone would have said, well, how do we do that? And they thought, well, let's just make him look kind of weird and stupid. And they were like, really? Are you sure? Like, that's just feels like we're messing up the character and making him look dumb just so that we can be different. Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. You don't just want to go for a classic design that's like awesome and people like, no, we got to do our own thing. We got to put our own spin on it. Fine, all right. But to me, watching that deleted scene, I was like, yeah, I see why you took that out. That feels real CW. That feels real afternoon Gotham TV show type scene. So I think it was exercised for a reason. And again, not a knock on the dude playing the Joker or anything like that. It was just the feel of the scene. To my eyes, it didn't work. So I think the film was stronger without it. And shorter. Didn't need any more scenes in that film. 3 hours was quite enough. Quite enough. And finally, just a fun bit of news for this channel. I'm about to torture myself because I just got Elden Ring. And yeah, might have to live stream a little bit of this, mainly so that people can probably help me. I'll need a chat running so that folks can say, okay, Dave, you have to pick up the handle of the sword and not the pointy end. Things like that would actually be useful. Because I love the idea of venturing out into this mythical world where you can just go anywhere and try and do anything, and if you get killed and get your butt kicked, you can go back and go to an easier place and level up, and I loved that. I loved playing Breath of the Wild, and this looks like a dark, scary, gnarly, terrifying version of Breath of the Wild. So I'm here for that. So we'll be streaming this on the channel very, very soon, because I think we might all have a bit of a blast playing Elden Ring. That's going to be great fun. And folks, that does it for Good News for today. What did you think of the things we were talking about and my mad ramblings on the subject? Comment below and let me know. As for this weekend coming up, this channel is going to have a little weekend break. I'll put my feet up, I'm going to relax. So we're going to be back here for more model behavior on Monday night. So guys, enjoy your own weekends. I hope you have fun doing whatever it is that you do. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior. If this YouTube show was distributed by a company, it would be by Sideshow. And then customers would be like, what the hell? This is not a 1/6 scale figure. Why are you doing this? And I'd be like, I don't know, it was an idea by Dave. I think he talks a lot of rubbish sometimes. Yeah, he does. Actually, they'd say, who? I'm going to edit that. That's just mad ramblings.